All right. Good morning, everyone. I know people will be joining. I'm not sure how many people I'll get this morning, but I needed to do a live stream this weekend for everyone that can make it or who asked their questions ahead of time because a lot happened on Friday. A lot of market action, really crazy crypto crash, deleveraging event. So I think what I'd like to do is talk a little bit about what happened in crypto, what I think it means based on my experience, and then get into questions anybody has, and then I'll share some views of the market as well if I've got some time later. And traveling, so I'm not. Won't Sunday be tough to do anything, but I'll see if perhaps I could try to do something if I put out another video. But I think for right now we're gonna members will get videos today, post it, and if you're not a member, our members I think navigate it everything pretty well and understand kind of the different outcomes that were possible, and had good money management because that's what we always stress, risk management, and you can survive a day like on Friday. Okay, so the market in crypto, guys, had obviously big flash crash. Okay, Bitcoin may still push down for another low in a flat. If it does that typically when the price has an earthquake, just in general, markets have an earthquake, a crash, whatever you want to call it, a sudden drop. Typically, there's some aftershocks, and it's typically a bottom in process, even if this low holds in like a 1-2, or we break it in 5. So that's what we typically see. Okay, that's what we typically see. Now, if Bitcoin, as you can see, is kind of pulled back, if we could come back and take this high out, now you're looking at a bigger 3-swing rally off the low, and that's probably going to be too big for 4. And then you have essentially an A, B, C move down, a 3-wave move down in Bitcoin. And from this peak, when you look from here, it does not look like 5 waves. It looks like 3. Okay, so you have 3 and 3. So it looks to me like an incomplete corrective. It's an incomplete correction. Still, even if we rally, so what it could evolve this connector could evolve into another form, and that's what corrections do. They get complex. So that is possible. So I think I would like to see it come back and make another low with some bullish divergence on the shorter time frames. If it doesn't do that, then we have to take another look. And again, we look at this wave as 3 waves. I mean, we can see it in front of us right now. Someone could say, "Oh, that's 4 and 5," but I think that's not intellectually honest to call it that. I think that's forcing it. We do have a little divergence here on the 4-hour. I mean, again, if I wanted to represent this as a count that I wish it to be, I could just do something like that. And then it's like, oh, it's 5. And then, oh, maybe my 1 was there. And then this was a 3-wave correction. And we go to new all-time highs. I mean, so anyway, I just mentioned that. I mentioned that, if I wanted to force it, I could try to force it, but I'm just not ready to do that until we come back and take out these highs. If we do, for some reason, then of course that's the label. We tell our members it doesn't really matter in this middle area because we had a bigger strategy. We've always had a bigger strategy where I've been saying accumulate in this general area and then play the long game for this area. This is kind of a trader battle zone. We talked about this could have been a 3-swing move, and we could get something like this. That's why we drew this box before the big crash. We had this box, and literally at the exact penny of our bot, we called that low. So if any of my members are out there who had a bid in at this low, you got filled and you made it. And it wasn't because I was in on the conspiracy to, short attack. No, it wasn't because I'm a whale and I can move the market. No, it's a market is technical. There's a reason why it rallied literally at the penny, and we had this box, and you can look at my other videos. We've had this box for at least a week and a half. This is our dump. This was always our dump area. And why did we draw it? Because we were worried that this could have been a flat. And that's what looks like happened. But it just happened so fast. It happened so fast. And so I think the learning from this in crypto is there's no breaks. There's no the mechanism of the market makers do not help buffer these falls like they do in the stock exchanges. They're not there to make sure the buyer survives. They're there to just exist so you can trade. They're not there. So that's the tail risk of crypto, right? Because crypto, there's extreme reward, right? Look at Zcoin, the reward people got from buying that. And then look at the risk. But the risk, everyone forgets, the risk offsets that reward. There's a reason the rewards are so great in crypto, because you can wake up at any moment, at any minute, and your favorite coin, XYZ, is zero. Luna, example. Many examples out there. And a lot of times people, go to zero on these coins, buying the dip as it's crashing. And that's what I kind of heard happen here in the altcoins. They started to break down. People were liquidated. And then they had automatic trading programs go in and buy it again. And then put more money in thinking, I'll just buy the dip. And then they lost everything. Everything. So that was how a lot of people I knew lost everything they owned in Luna too, trying to buy the dip. So another lesson learned with crypto altcoins, if they're in a free fall crash, don't stick your neck out and buy the dip, because the order book can basically go to zero. We saw that there was a coin that they said basically went to zero on one of the exchanges. I think it was Atom. So crypto has a massive tail risk, and that's why the rewards are so great. So that's why so money management is key, position size is key, leverage. If you're going to use it, you better understand what that means. And even if it's 2 times leverage, the exchange could still wipe you out if the right event happens. The other side is with that type of clearing, not even a brush fire, like a nuclear bomb, is it resets leverage and it creates a foundation. Because think of the panic, think of the low. So let's pick up, I don't know, any coin, like Litecoin. We'll just pick Litecoin. Litecoin on Coinbase held 71. So that, you imagine, if it comes back and breaks it, think about like how firm that price is, and there was no liquidity at that moment. So this really gives a market participant something really, really good to trade off of and build off of now, because this established this was a catastrophe, no liquidity, everybody's selling, and yet it still held the April low, despite all that. So technically, that's very significant, and that allows it to build to higher prices now as the leverage rebuilds, right? It didn't do this, right? So it tells you a lot, and it definitely shook out, a lot of buyers, weak hands, and now it can rebuild. You look at a coin like Zcoin, it's already taken out the high of the flash. So the ecosystem is healthy, right? I know who cares about Zcoin. Well, I care about making money. That's all I care about. This is a signal that the ecosystem is still alive. We took the high out. I think it's the first coin that take the high out. So we crashed last night, and it's already taken the high out. This is the leader, guys. This is the market leader. I don't know why it's leading. There's reasons why people could come up with, but it is. I mean, that's where our buy alert was, and I gave another one here. Look, it just keeps going up. It keeps going up, keeps going up. So this is a market leader. So the ecosystem's okay. So that's all this was like a leverage clearing out event. And it was a reminder with the altcoins that you have massive tail risk when you're in them. And you better understand that as you money manage and risk manage and that's why taking profit along the way is so important. So that's the learning. The other thing I'll mention too is why did this happen? I think it wasn't because people were overexposed to Bitcoin. It was they were overexposed to altcoins. I think people got too bulled up on the total 3, right? The total 3. Ironically, I showed this short as a 5. And literally the next day it crashes. So looks like my count was right. But again, the suddenness of the move. And I think on my short, I even drew the box somewhere here where it would bounce. And it is. So what happened, again, what happened is everyone's is like went all in right here. They bought altcoins right here. Everybody apparently in the crypto community was levered up to altcoins right here. And they were thinking of, I'm going to be rich. I'm going to be rich. And then the market punished them. Boom. You punished them. Punished them. That's what happened here, guys. It was just too many people were loaded up on altcoins. And so the market punished them. And it was a hard lesson to learn. But it doesn't negate the pattern. It doesn't negate the higher highs. It just made it difficult. I saw online the journey from Bitcoin going from 100 to 1,000. It had a 50% drop like we had yesterday. So those kind of shakeouts are normal in a bull market, right? That's what we call a reactive move, a crash. So that tells you the trend is higher, right? A bear market takes years to grind out. The trend is lower, right? Because it's taken a long time. These kind of flash crashes along the way, that's usually a bull market correction. So you better get used to it, because as the altcoins break higher, you're going to see many liquidation events as people panic, delever, and they're going to be violent and down. And then just like Zcoin, before you blink, you're back at new highs. And that's how this path is going to be. So you better be ready for that. It's not going to be a comfortable, I just sit back and watch me make millions of dollars. No, it's not going to be that easy, because they're not going to let you lever up. So you got to understand, like, that's going to be the typical bull market, wave 3 of the super cycle of alt season. As you break out, you're going to get liquidation events along the way that are going to be violent shakeouts, and that's a bull market shakeout that allows you to keep going quickly higher, because the opposite is those sellers and the buyers you'll have to have more time correcting, and that's where you turn into the multi-year bear markets. And the sellers so you want, the faster the crash, the more likely you can rebound quickly from it and keep the momentum going higher. So that's what's going to happen. Get used to it. I think it's going to do that. And then when the cycle ends, wherever it ends, the crash will probably be horrific. It's just like we saw here, so you're never going to be able to time it. You're going to have to take profit along the way. So that's the learning. You got to take profit along the way on the altcoins. If not, you're always 24 hours away from having zero, because the tail risk offsets the reward. That's how nature is. Imbalances balance each other out. The universe has a way of correcting imbalances, and you're just not going to have a one-sided, market where everyone can become a multimillionaire that easy without having the risk, and that's going to balance it out. That's how I feel about the market, guys. So, but anyway, it's just is what it is, and it is sad because it happened so fast. And it definitely doesn't do good for confidence for the average, player that doesn't know much about crypto. A company thinking about buying this in their treasury now says, "Oh yeah, F that." So it's a big setback. So I think the market makers need to come up with a mechanism to buffer these falls like they do in the regular exchanges and even circuit breaker type things for the major exchanges, and they're going to have to figure it out, because if they don't, no one's going to do this except for us, people like you and I, the pro traders, or the traders that have done this for years and years and years. but an average person will never come back after an event like that. Okay. So I'm doing a live stream. I'll go through your guys' questions here. I do have the earlier questions that for some reason YouTube gets rid of. Let's go into it. Let's go into it. All right, XOM. XOM, guys. XOM. XOM is correcting. Obviously, oil is going lower. So I took another look at this. I think it's pretty similar to what I had earlier. So it looks like 5 waves up. Pulling back into this box. So we'll probably see 104, 103. Right between the 4 and the 2 is usually the target. So I bet it goes deeper into the box. Really need to hold 95, 93. If it can't hold that, right, then it's a more complex correction, and I think it's likely to come back down to 87, 85. As you know, I have the correction ending in a run-in flat here, but you know it's kind of not an ideal way to end a correction, but it is technically sound. But we haven't taken out B yet at 122.38. Now, once we do that, then we know that that's a confirmed low. We do have 5 waves up. So I would just see where the market goes. But again, energy is like buying the GDX and the URA was 2 years ago, 2023. Okay, guys. So let's say energy doesn't do this and it does make a bigger wave 2 down. You guys need to be in accumulation mode in energy, okay, for the big picture. In 28 and 29, you're going to thank me for owning energy. I promise you guys that, because this is like buying the GDX in January 23. This is like buying the URA in January 23. Is it going to take time to come out of this? Yes. Do you want instant gratification? You're not going to get it here. But are you going to be like a professional trader, smart money, get a nice dividend? Yes. Buy it. Accumulate. But manage your expectations. This is what I told the people with the GDX and URA. And those few that held, and one of my friends held from all the way back there, they are so happy right now. They are so happy. Because that's how you trade. That's how you really trade, guys. That's pro trade. You sleep well at night. Your position is so low. And you're making so much money in wave 3 right now in those indices. You don't have anything to worry about. And what if it's a secular run? You may have had a generational low that can make you really wealthy. So energy is like in that situation here, right? It's clearly 5 waves up and it's consolidated. So think of it this way. If this does drop back down here, thank the market for the gift, because they're going to help you make a ton of money in the future. But you're going to have the bigger view in mind, and I think in energy. But that's also sad for, the average, Main Street, because it tells you what's coming. And I think that is going to be higher oil prices in the future. Not right now, but in the future. Perhaps when Trump leaves. But this is a sector that needs your attention. Needs your attention for long-term investment and accumulation. And you guys can do with that information what you want. Now, if we break out, then it's breaking out. Then hey, it's too late. Too many people saw what I saw. But I think you're jammed up in this correction, and we'll see where it goes. VTS have this in this nice little 1-2-1-2. It looks like a higher high here. Small connector, which gives us a box right around 2053, 1961 for a potential breakout. We want to hold 1796. Where this invalidates the count, okay? So something like that is what I'm thinking. Need to put that over here. Okay, so that's what I'm thinking right now, something like that. And let's take a look. See, I don't think we have a flat risk in this. But again, whatever happens here, go into a time machine, you'll be higher, because of the way this looks to me. AMPL, this one, we never took the high out. We're going to say that's the low. We have a 1-2. This looks like 5 up 2. and then 3 down. So you may be able to see 873 and then a breakout of this accumulation, and then you break out. And even if this low breaks, we've seen it before where you can do A, B, C. I still think it comes out of this. It's a bottom, right? See, it's obviously bottoming. The correction is over. Accumulation is happening. And then at some point, Happy Talk will emerge around this company and it will go higher, and perhaps much higher. When is it going to happen? I don't know, but it probably will. But I think right now you have this connector, a lower low. I wouldn't be surprised to see more downside into this area to retest this low here, and I should draw that a little better there, like that. This shot, I didn't know it changed its symbol. I saw it go away, and then someone mentioned it, but nothing changes the chart. We have 5 up, 1 2 1 2. I mean, well, no, I thought the indices are supposed to be super bearish, and there's a big crash on Tuesday. Maybe this won't. Again, every chart, this is an example, every chart's trading in its own world. Even the indices, which is really big cap tech. So you do with this information what you want. Again, we could see the instant gratification on Tuesday if this plays out, but again, we've seen it before where we are still now in 2, and it could chop around. It could do something like this, right? It could do something like that, and then double correct down, and do that, right? So it has a couple paths. So you're gonna have to understand that. So I think what I would like to see is this low hold. I think that's pretty important for that low to hold, and then let's be kind of open to different possibilities in this area. But once we take that high out, it's probably go time, and that's the count. Of course, breaking this low would invalidate the count, and it would become something else that we just aren't seeing here. And that's why it's so important to take profit along the way, so you have something to show for it, right? Because we put the buy alert out down here, and then we even said it broke the low. It was going to likely, reverse, and it did, and then it continued higher. So hopefully, if you bought it around 26 cents at 42, you almost, doubled your money. You took something out. If you didn't, and then you come all the way down and the trade doesn't work, don't get mad at me. That was just poor money management. Because you definitely got something out of this, right? You almost doubled your money. So you should always take something out. And then if the market denies the breakout, and then we're out of the trade, okay, well, we got something out of it, and we'll look for the next opportunity. And that's how that's my view. That's how I interpret the market, guys. That's how I view this, and that's how I trade. I don't get emotional, right? I don't get emotional because I don't make the market. I can't control it. This is a likely path. So that's why taking some profit along the way is always important. All right. The question is, when above your target, I'm not surprised. I mean, it really behaved like we thought because we expected it to go to the box, and it did, and we expected it to get rejected, and it did. Okay. It got rejected at $1.22 versus $1.06. Who cares? The idea was the same. You still avoided it. If you were dumb enough to buy it here, you don't deserve to follow me, because that's not what I'm trying to say. But now it's in the downtrend. So guess what? When this 2 comes, you can try to short it if you want to. I mean, that's up to you. If you can get a 3-wave bounce, but you'll be shorting now against 122. Now this has to hold. That has to hold. So the bears have to hold that. I'm not interested in this. I don't know the fascination around these go to zero stocks, guys. Why did we pick SHOT? Why did we pick the other one is my MYO? Why did I pick those? Why did Elliott Wave Sage pick those and share with his members? Because it doesn't have a lower low sequence. It doesn't have a lower low. It's not a go to zero. If I'm trading penny stocks, and I want to pick penny stocks, the first thing I look at is I look at the chart, and if I see a lower low, I throw it away. I don't even care. I won't trade it. I won't look at it. It goes in the trash. I could care less about what group says it's going to go higher, the news, whether I feel it's my time or my prayer group I'm part of says let's go buy it. No. The minute you see the lower low, throw the chart away. Throw the chart away, because if you're going to buy it, you're trading against the wind. You know, you're already in a losing position because the direction is lower. And that's what I think is going to happen here. So that's my personal view. I just throw those charts away, guys. But anyway, I get the fascination of the go to zeros. I understand it. And, this is great if you can catch that. But, and maybe it will go even higher. And it could. Guys, this could go, because, again, we're correcting, right? So it could do this, another leg, right? But the overall trend is lower. So at some point, you're going to crap out and this thing's going to break down. So I don't like to trade it. I can't stress it enough. The lower lows, I will always look at them if you guys want me to, but I don't ever recommend trading them. I just throw those charts away and I don't bother with them. Okay. And if MYO and SHOT break out, I hope that's a lesson, and about to. I think MYO is about to break the downtrend. It's on the downtrend line. That's a lesson. Why did these are lessons, guys. You got to understand these lower lows. Okay. This one is LTS. I think LTS has more downside in this structure. 3, and then maybe something like this. You have a confluence of Fibonacci levels coming together at 204. So I think if it can make it down here, you're going to see a strong reaction higher, possibly the low, if this IPO bottoms out here. And I assume it's some kind of IPO or something. Okay. So that's kind of what I'm thinking right now with this one. And it got rejected at the exact point where I would have expected, and that's a pretty nasty move down. So I think it's something like this, something like that is what I would expect on that one. So the next one is LTCN. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah. What's your targets for Zcash? Well, Zcash again keeps extending. I mean, this is insane, like what's happening. This was GPTC back in 2017, guys. This is what GPTC did. You see this is like a big wave 5 as of now. It's a wave 5. And then the shorter cycle, even in a wave 5. So it's a blow off top as of now. But what I want to show you is here, that peak took these out. Okay. And then on the 45-minute, it's hard to see it here, but you see how all that kept going higher, right? It kept going higher, and then we pulled back, and then the 4-hour, we're at the top. So I believe this is the right count where 5 is extending, and I think that's what we're seeing it do right now, the coin. So so it's just going to keep pushing higher. So how high can it go? I think the one thing you can look at is chart resistance. We have the all-time high at 39.93. Typically it's uncommon for something to just break through. Usually you get some kind of cup and handle. So maybe you could target this, but if we break through that, what I've seen in cryptos that do that, like Dogecoin did that real thing, it usually just goes crazy. And I can't predict how crazy it can get. So if you look, if we look at the coin itself, some people are predicting $1,000 for it right now. That's what some people are predicting. When we go back to the chart, we definitely could see 825. The all-time high is 2,600. This would be around $250 for Zcash. So the highest I can see it probably getting is into this area. It would be unthinkable for me to have it do that. But crypto, this is again the other side of the tail risk. This is the other part of it that they don't, we all love. And Unfortunately, no one bought this. Very few people had bought it, even though I had been recommending it. Yeah, I think my feeling is if we get to that 2,000 level, if it gets up to that level, this would be around $220. And, that'd be somewhere up here, right? So I don't know. I think you just can dream and use your imagination. I think the next target, I think it's looking for this all-time high. I think that's where it's looking for. So we'll see what happens. And LTCN, we do have it pulling back in another low. That may line up with this LITS, right? With a lower low here. So we could see it pull back to 743. You have the 4 and the 2 here. We do have a nice 5-wave move off the low. And I think our target here was always this area here, 67.70. That was always our target. So, and we've been trading this for a long time on our channel. As you know, we, had a buy down here a long time ago at $3. And that obviously worked out really well. And then this brutal correction, which really has ended here. And now it's in the series of the 1s and 2s, right? Just like it did back here, right? It had a brutal correction. And then we had these little 1s and 2s. I'm sure a lot of people weren't patient, didn't want to hold it anymore. And then that happened. And then look at that crash, right? Same kind of thing's going to happen. So we haven't even made the first 2 yet. So we could have another 1, 2, and then we could even have a second one. We could even have something more like this, right? So we don't know how it's going to look. But anyway, that's kind of what I see. And so Zcash, I think we have to keep an open mind that we may have the leader. Remember the last big alt run in 2020, 21, Solana was the leader, right? Solana was a big leader. It was all about Solana. Maybe I don't know why the fascination with it. I think there's this news going around Zcash that it's quantum proof, or they're going to make it quantum proof, and it's privacy, and no one knows who you are, and they can't hack you if they don't know who you are. I don't know if people just figured that out or what, but that's been known. So I don't know why that's a big deal all of a sudden, unless people are afraid there's a quantum attack coming and they need to protect themselves, and they're all rushing into this coin, like this privacy coin. Again, I don't know how far along quantum is, honestly. But whatever it is, it's turned into a leader. All right, and it already took out the high from the crash yesterday. So, I mean, the evidence is telling you that. Whether you like it or not, whether that's your personal pet coin or you're mad at yourself you didn't buy it, guys, that's why you just have to be no emotional attachment when the boxes are in there. You just gotta go for it and give it a shot. And one day you hit a big hit. Next one is, do the technical support Solana wicking down? Let me take a look at Solana. How's that doing here? Solana is trying to come off of here. That looks like a 4, and maybe makes another low into the box here. Now, so we have 5 waves up. We know from our channel, we love to see the lows between the 4 and the 2, right there, 143. Okay, 143. So, could this defeat our box? It's possible, but I don't know. I don't think it would, but this is usually the right area. Typically we see it hit. That means it could also maybe rally and even do another leg down later. So there's a couple possible paths to get there. But the question about 118, that would be down around here. I'm not sure why you pick out 118. When I look at this, we did retrace to the 4. We have 5 up. We've pulled back deep. I wish we went a little deeper yesterday, but maybe on this exchange, Coinbase, maybe it's different on other exchange. The only way I can see it get into that level, that low, is a double correction from here, like I showed. Like we bounce, and it's a very small bounce, and then you have another big leg lower. There's really no other path to get there. So I think the likelihood is low. I think if we got down that low, then you're looking at breaking this low, right? And then what does this mean? Well, then this was some kind of big A, B, C connector off of that peak, and then that would give us a target of $56, and then this would become a W, X, Y. Okay, so I don't see 115 at all in any of those possibilities, other than a double correction target, which is I don't see it. So I don't know if that answers your question. I think it has a strong chance of rallying here in this area, but then after that is going to be pretty much what's up to crypto, right? Is it going to find a low, or is it going to double correct again down to this area here? And for those of you new to my channel or just watching, we had we called this top, literally the day of the top. Now, this was this was kind of an ugly 3-wave move, so I'm not surprised to see the way this happened here. But that's what happened, and it just rug pulled people in a double. We haven't taken out that 4-hour. That's probably why it's going to go lower, a little lower into the box. So I think this has more downside. So I don't think this is done falling yet. If you're in it, this looks like your B. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. All right. IREN hit 50 after hours. Yeah, I don't care about the after hour data. I know people are fascinated by it, but even my little small account can take a stock and move it after hours to whatever price I want if it's small enough. So to me, it's not representative of true price discovery, and to use it in your analysis, I believe, is flawed. But that's my opinion. Now, some people think that's heresy to say that, but it's my opinion. If I can go take a small liquid stock and move the wick and watch the wick. I mean, literally, I can watch the wick go up and down with my account isn't that big. I don't have hundreds of millions of dollars, but I mean, it's big enough that I can take a smaller symbol, maybe like MIG. I can move it around. I mean, if I can, then what good is charting, So it's not price discovery. So here's my chart on iron, and it keeps extending. Look we took out this peak, took out these divergences, so this becomes a 3 now. We've taken out that peak. This peak has taken out all those peaks, so this is all still 3. I bet we're going to even take this out because this is so early in the cycle. This is telling me that this has got more upside. This is probably going to see $80 to $100. There'll be pullbacks along the way, but this is kind of the count. Now, shorter time period, that could be the 4 right there. That's your connector. So after hours may be irrelevant. You may wake up on Tuesday and be trading at 61, and I wouldn't be surprised to see that. So if you were hoping for some big crash, it's probably not going to happen, man. This has been bullish. This is also a good lesson in not timing the market in wave 3s. Okay, because wave 3s continue to extend, right? And I keep telling my members, don't try to time the market in these wave 3s. You have to just let the market tell you that the trend is over and not worry, because the bubble can go as long as, it could just, we don't know. No one knows. And you leave a lot of money on the sidelines. We were covering IREN down here. Right, this is when I was telling everybody about it. We didn't have like a clean look, but we had this higher high, right, and these higher high flat. Like we knew this was about to break out, and that's why my members bought it, because they were telling, because I was mentioning that. And then here it could have easily ended, but it blew through, and so again, time in the market wasn't good. So wave 3s, when they're born, you're gonna have to hold them and be comfortable. And you're like, well, I have calls and they're going to expire. Well, you got to roll the calls, or you're going to have to try a different strategy. And that strategy is flawed because you won't maximize all your money. So I can't help you with your calls and timing if that's the issue with time in the market. I would just say that The best thing I could recommend is once you're in a wave 3 to just enjoy the ride. Buy it early and enjoy the ride. And then a day like yesterday doesn't matter. Do you think the iron investor who bought down at 15 cared what happened on Friday? They don't care. Do they care about what happened after hours? They still don't care. I mean, seriously. Because look where their entry is. They don't care. They don't care. And that's how you need to trade, guys. Now, the people that bought up here in FOMO, they care. The people that even bought down here, they're probably losing some sleep. But when we buy, we always buy early on our channel. We buy early. And we'll get to another one that we bought early, MBIS. So when a Friday happens, we just go do something else for the day. We're like, or, whatever. It's like, who cares? But I still think there's more upside in this. I think 80 is the right level. Maybe 100. Maybe you could see that psychological 100 level. But we'll see what happens. So good luck on that. I don't think it's going to dip. All right. Next is let your winners ride. This one looks amazing. Like all the miners do. I mean, look, 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2. Now, earlier we could have labeled this as like a 1 2 3 4 5, or maybe even 1 2 and then 1 2 3 4 5. But the RSI is erased divergence. So now you have this. We just broke out of a consolidation since 2007. Do you think it ends in 7 days? Or 7? Guys, this has been going on for almost 18 years. And we just broke out. Do you think that's over, in 18 days? This has entered a new era, a new paradigm of trading. Again, not paradigm, but it's a whole new market dynamic. It's a whole new sector leadership has been born, and baton is being handed over. That's what's happening underneath the hood on the annual time frame. So this has years of gains coming, years. So again, I'm showing you the chart. You can decide how you want to trade it. If I happen to buy it anywhere in this general area, I probably don't look to sell it for a long time. But if you're trading it, it's probably due. It's in a 3. It's probably due for a 4 and a 5, and perhaps a back test of the breakout. I still think a lot of these are going to back test this breakout as the one last final hurrah before you really get going. And that may be your final chance to get long these if the market allows this. So I think this is kind of what we're looking for. And again, if you've been following me, I've been telling guys to buy these miners since 23. I mean, I've been telling you now. I know it's taken a long time to play out, but that's how wealth is built. You have to be patient. You have to buy it. And now, if you bought it in these areas, these miners, it doesn't matter what happens here. It doesn't. You're not stressed. You're not chasing. You are smart money, and you did it. But you have to have the patience. And you're like, well, my calls. What do I do about? That's why I don't trade these calls, guys. Now you have to build your counterbalance up to make it meaningful. I get that, but the goal should be so you don't need calls. You're your own call, right? So you don't have to worry about, well, it's going to take forever. My call, like, who cares? For me, I don't need calls on my own call. But it took like 20 years of trading to build up an account balance to allow that. So that should be your goal, because once you don't need calls, then time is irrelevant. Time's irrelevant in your calculation, and it makes trading so much easier when that variable is removed. Trust me. So yeah, could I have been like a billionaire if I used, yeah, but I mean, guys, I don't like calls. I don't like them because I don't like predicting time. I think it's gambling, and I've not had good luck at it, so I don't trade calls. But I know a lot of people do, and it's tough to time the market, and that's what makes it so much harder. But if you have the patience and you don't need to time the market, you can get these amazing setups, and you can really do well. Okay, guys. All right. Keep trying to join, but it won't accept my post code. Not sure about that. Unfortunately, YouTube and Google control the logistics behind subscription. You may want to reach out to them. I not sure what the issue could be, but that's something you might have to ask them about. All right, let's go to CCJ. Another one we had last update on that. We were in this 1-2-1-2. We broke out in 3. So again, we can keep extending like we saw with IREN. This doesn't have to stop it here, but right now we are showing a 5 with divergence, I think. Uranium. The uranium sector we track in our elite group is all showing like 5s. So for now, that's the count I'll show you. Now, let's go to the higher time frame. So that could be a 3 or 4 here. So we could put 3 here, and we can. So it could do something like that. That's the more conservative view. Obviously, the more aggressive view is it's a 1-2, and then it just goes. Now, that's possible. That's why I keep saying I don't like timing the market in a wave 3. So you got to wait for confirmation of a reversal, and you can do that. Let me see here if we can go to a higher time frame, or maybe the daily cycle. Daily cycle may be the one to use. You may want to watch the daily cycle trend line. That breaks. That would tell you a bigger cycle's over, but even the weekly cycle maybe. And you see how that weekly cycle is about to break. That's showing you see it right about down that wave 5 area. You see that? You're right up there. If we break that line, that could be confirmation the 5 is done. And now you're entering a bigger correction, 4. So that's why I have it. That's why I think it's the most likely path. Now we haven't broke the weekly cycle. They can still save it. They can still save this cycle, right? So it's tough, but that's what I'm going to show. I'm going to show this as a 5 that could end at any moment, and then we get a bigger pullback, and it could be, multi-month, just like we saw here. And then we could see another 5, and then an even bigger consolidation, or this can become a 1-2, 1-2, and then go, much higher. The use is showing, I think, a 5. Something similar, right? We're in a 5, we need a 4, a bigger consolidation, and then one more high. I think the uranium is the same idea. So see? Something like that. And that one may have already started its correction. Yeah, you can't even see it. Let's look at the daily. Yeah, it's not. So again, I'm showing it, but we haven't even, this could still be extending. So I don't want to say the top's in. We could still be extending 5. So it could still be extending. It could still be, and this would be a 1-2 of 5. So if we finished here, it would go back up to maybe 28, and then keep going. Again, why I don't like to time the market, because we don't know. It can easily do that. It can easily do that. We don't know. So we don't know. So that's why I'm saying that from an Elliott wave count standpoint, it could be finished. But we don't like the top tick. We have to just let this play out a little more and get a little more confirmation. Maybe we can draw a trend line here. When that breaks, we know the cycle's over. So we'll have to see where it goes. See where it goes from here. All right, MBIS. This one I have again in a 5 that needs a 4 and a 5. I think MBIS, this is what I think could happen here. You get this 4, a 5, and then you get the back test of the breakout, and then it goes into a whole new cycle higher. So I think this could be ahead of you. But again, just like the other one, we could still extend 5. Because this isn't enough selling to show the cycle has ended. Right? But technically, I have all the swings I need. So I can put that there. But we need more selling, more dramatic selling to know, yes, this cycle is over. So even though I show this 5 can still extend. This 5 can still extend. So again, I don't like timing the market. I don't like selling it. But I am showing you what I think is the most likely path, but it is not the only path. And again, for our people here, elite members, we had to buy here and to buy here. So you can decide. Again, we bought it early, and it just continued to melt up. And it hasn't really stopped. Okay, Hive. Hive is an interesting one. Hive, I got so many questions on down in this area. People so scared. And I kept saying, guys, look, you just got to be patient. You hold and hold and hold. And again, maybe it was calls or whatever, but here we are. We had to buy here, and then people were like, well, when is it going to hit this? When is it going to go? I said, typically it goes vertical. It went vertical. Now, I think the best way to target where this is going to go is chart resistance. And I think you're going to see that somewhere in this area around $11. Maybe a little lower, but somewhere around here. So I think this can continue higher until you get to somewhere in this area. And then a big decision is going to be made about this. You probably will get some kind of consolidation or rejection, likely. And then you'll either break out and it continues to go vertical, or you get a little bit more and then it's game over. So why do I say game over? Because the bigger structure, you have a lower low, lower low, lower low. So that is never a good sign for me. I don't like, again, as you know, I don't like to trade those kind of stocks because this, well, has gone, like, it's been breathtaking how high it's gone. We know it could end really at any moment, and then this could happen. So I don't know if that move. So I think this move is likely to happen whenever this ends. I think you're going to get something like that. I just don't know when. And so enjoy the ride while you have it. And like that other one we looked at, MIGI, it can just, this sea leg can just keep going and going and going. So we just don't know when the party will end. Hopefully we'll get a warning sign with a bigger, consolidation. But I think this is the area where the decision will be made. Will the party end here, or is there a whole new chapter? That's, I don't know. I don't know how it's gonna go down. So a shorter time frame, I'd like to see more upside. More upside. Something like that. Okay, and then let's see what happens. Let's see what happens after this. We get to this level. Now, if we go down any deeper, it would just morph into something like more like a 1-2, 1-2, or we could be off by a degree, and that could be 4, a higher degree 4. All right, so I think I got through the super chats that people gave me earlier that I was able to get to. VRAR, go to some of your others here that I don't have right now on here. VRAR. Let's take a look. So it's still holding the structure we had. Let's take a look at how we came off the low. I like that higher high. We have to go to the 15-minute. Yeah, I mean, I would call this like a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. One. So, I mean, that means what, Tuesday's go time for this thing? Is that what this is saying? I mean, that's what this is saying. Now, if we break this level, this is 5 up, we'd have to look at some other, like this is some kind of connector in here, and then we would still be in 2, right? So I'm going to label it this way. I still think in the future it's going to break out. If we do break this low, we would still be in 2. This would be a W and an A, B, C, W, X, Y, A, B, C, and we would probably go just a little bit lower. Maybe $1.32 gets hit. So that's kind of where it is. You're in the middle area still. But I think, I think I would rather be more conventional than that. To me, labeling it that way is very unconventional. But it's still valid. This is more conventional. So we'll label it this way. CAG. Yeah, Staples doing okay. I think I have this chart. Someone was asking me about this earlier, and yeah, hit our box. I think it hit our box on Friday. So yeah, I was wondering if we're gonna extend 5 here and a 1-2, or is 5 done, and we corrected the whole thing down here. So bottom line is it's in a box. Okay. Beautiful three-wave move in a box. Now the question is, what degree are we in? Where are we at? I think that's the big thing. We never took this low out. So if we rally from here, it's just 5's extended. Okay. So it could rally from here and then do something like this, top out, and have a super crash. So I don't know. I think you rally. Now, if it goes lower into the box, then that's better for a long-term investor, because then you've corrected this whole move, and the ideal entry would be right around 1452. So I mean, it's tough. It's tough here because you have 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. You could be in 5. So I think it's ready to turn. I think it's ready to turn. Okay, but that would make it an extension in 5. All right. Then let's look at BMY. But I think if you're a long-term investor, you can start buying it now. Yeah, because it's not going away. I mean, ConAgra's not going away unless they screwed up their business somehow. Okay, still looking for some kind of big connector wave, and then a consolidation. Is what I have it in is we made big 5 waves up from 2002, a big correction. The question is this finished? Is that 3 and 4, and we're in 5? So those are the things. So let's look at it again. It's been a while since I looked at this one. So this RSI is lower than there. Okay. So that's one clue. The other is you see this peak. There's no peak here. So unless you believe that's 3, that's 4, and this is a wave 5, and Bristol Myers is going to come all the way back down to what, $7? The world's going to end. Then you can't label it that way. So we label it this way as a 1, 2, 1, 2, and that's what we have. So I don't think we're in 3, and so I think we're in a 1, 2, 1, 2. So that's good. 1, 2, 1, 2, right? Something like that. So now the question is that 2, or is it going to go a little deeper? Let's take a look. I mean, it did bottom with no divergence. We're still in the correction, the big correction. Let's go from here. Now we break that line, the correction's over. 2 is in. We're still in the downtrend so it's still in the bear market. Still in the bear market. Let's look at the weekly cycle. No divergence. 5 up here, but I haven't labeled. How did I label that? Yeah, I'm labeling it as like a connect. That's why I'm showing another swing higher. Yeah, maybe I'm being a little too bearish with this pullback. I think we just label it what we see it. I think we're not going to assume a double correction. We're just going to label that finished. I think that's the way we're going to do it, because what I've noticed is a lot of these double corrections are being denied, and I think it's not smart to assume double corrections anymore like that in the market. I think the market's extremely bullish. And I think looking at it with a fresh set of eyes here, I think we will go back to a more bullish view and just call this a flat A, B, C, and hopefully come out. So yeah, I think you can buy Bristol Myers here against 36.56, and we are seeing the healthcare sector trying to find a low. So we'll go with something like that. Now, if we do break this low, well, then my previous chart is valid, and then you got to go back to my previous chart, and then I would be looking for somewhere around 28, 26, 29 if this low breaks. But I think this was deep. This looks deep enough. I mean, do I believe that's a 5th wave? Right? Some kind of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I mean, I don't believe so. I think that would mean bankruptcy for this company. That's what that would mean. I just can't imagine that going down that far. I don't believe it. I don't believe that's going to happen. So I think this is the right way to look at BMY. So something like that. Is biotech in a new bull market? I believe it is. And you can look at the XLV, and our lead members have looked at that. So if you're a lead member, you know what I'm talking about. But yeah, I do believe the baton could be passed to healthcare. All right, QS. QuantumScape. Like I mentioned before, I see the lower lows. I just don't even bother with this. But since you've asked, look at the hidden bearish divergence. We do have 5 up, but I think 5 up would be the end of the connector. So again, you do with this information what you want to. I don't like to trade these kind of stocks, so more than likely that was the low for this cycle, 1, 2, 3. So we have some kind of W here, X and Y, and this will turn into some kind of A, B, and that C needs ends as an impulse. So you want divergence like you have here. So that could be over at any moment. Let's look at the box. And it got rejected right where you would have expected it to, right here. So there you go. Looking for something like that, some kind of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it hasn't made a decisive move down yet. It could be about to do that, especially maybe if oil's going down. It looks like to me it's still in the uptrend though. So I think you just got to be careful trying to short it here. I think looking at it, it looks like we don't have confirmation the cycle's over, so it could still push higher, go through the box like we saw MIGI. But the general idea doesn't change the fact, because you can't. For me, I don't like the bottom with these lower lows. It is what it is. REPL, and again, stocks like that, guys, I just throw them away. I don't even bother with those charts. It's not even worth my time and effort. All right, next is another lower low. Again, I look at these and I just throw them away. But if you're going to ask me, that's your connector for this leg, and then it looks like an impulse coming down. It looks like an impulse. Yeah, that's what it looks like to me. So you're going to get a relief rally. So if you time it just right, you are going to get a rally. You should get a relief rally out of this thing. So that is hopefully coming, if that's what you're hoping for. Maybe finished here at that 5. It may be finished because I see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's go to the shorter time frame on that. I mean, we have the lower low, so maybe one more low. Maybe one more low. A, B, C, 1, 2, or 1, 2. Yeah, it's gonna have to be only see 3. Oh, okay, the price. So yeah, that's irrelevant. So yeah, I think looking at it, I would have liked to seen bullish divergence from here to here. This doesn't matter because the price is higher, but here to here you don't have it. So I think it's some kind of like, 1, 2, 3, and then this is some kind of 4 you're in, and you get 5. But if it can easily keep extending lower. Maybe 207 is the area you could try to target if you really want to give it a shot, and then it should rally and correct this wave, maybe back up to like 14, and then continue into the abyss. That's kind of what I think is going to happen with that. Okay, SBET. Ooh, what happened? What's going on here? This is hit our box to the penny and is trying to find life. Maybe some kind of stealth accumulation happening here. No divergence though. Ooh. And I don't like that look, and I don't like that lower low. So this is in danger of breaking. This is in danger of breaking. And we have only a corrective move. Now, we know it can be a leading diagonal coming out of the correction, right? And do that, and then so that doesn't mean, you know, it's gonna, you know, automatically go to a new low. This could be a leading diagonal. If it is, it's gonna bottom here. If this breaks, it's gonna turn into what we talk about, those other an irregular bottom. And my guess is it has a couple possible paths. It either the floor will give out and it will just collapse. But what I think will happen is it will do a whipsaw like this and then whipsaw you out. So run the stops and whipsaw you out. The other possibility is it does, what we're starting to see more happen is these kind of flash crash, like Y waves, where you'll double correct and it'll just like dive down real quick, erase divergence, and then rip because they're trying to run the stop on you. So you got to look for something like that as well. And we just come down and erase divergence, boom. But the price holds up still against this low here. So you got to be watchful of that move. So ultimately, I think if you're trying to trade it, you got to be above this level. You have to stay above this level, in my opinion. So I wouldn't be surprised they're going to run the stops and try to do something like this to people. But as of now, this is the chart. I think you have 3 here in the middle. I can't give you a really good indication of which way it's going to head. It hasn't. The market is as confused as everybody. So I think right now it's kind of just stuck. It's in a big moment. But I wouldn't, I wouldn't be surprised they run the stops and then swing it out. Just my opinion. Okay. All right, another go to zero. See, again, you break that low, I just throw the chart away. So guys, I'm trying to, you know, again, I try to teach you guys with these penny stocks, like how do you find the next Mayo, the next shot. When you see that, you just throw the chart away. Like you just, now I'll analyze it, but I'm just telling you, these are you're set up to lose, not win in these kind of charts. The minute you see that lower low. So we can't project a target for the next bottom, but we can take a look here. Oh my God, yeah, this is a bad one. So we'll use this as our swing high. Looks like we have 5 down and an A, B. So we'll try this. And that looks like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's look at the RSI. Whew, look at that, holy crap. So yeah, we're going to label it as an impulse from that peak. Something like that. So what you're hoping for is 5 ends and you can bounce back up to maybe 55. That's what you're hoping for. And we tried to find an area for 5. We weren't able to find that. That's a lot of good divergence. That's the kind of divergence you want to see in the 5th wave. So the cycle ended here. So could 5 be done here? It's possible. Unlikely, but possible. My guess is you're going to break that low, and then it's going to open up another leg lower. So right now you're in this 2. Now, where does this 2 go? Does it fill the gap? Is it already done? That's a pretty big RSI spike on the 4-hour. It's already turning down. The daily's wide open to the downside. The weekly showing you it's a 5, right? It's almost done. So the daily cycle is your clue. When the daily cycle bottoms out on the RSI, stochastic RSI, that's when you know it's probably finished this 5. So it seems like to me it's just going to head lower and then finish this 5. And then you'll wake up one day, it'll be up 300%. You won't know why. but that's how it will probably go down. But I think that's the best way to look at it. And then then there should be a big reaction to correct the whole thing, this whole thing from April 17. Now the worst case scenario is it erases and I see these a lot in these charts. It erases divergence, and this is another one too, and you don't get this, and it just continues to reverse split. So the minute you see on the higher time frame, if that low is taken out, that low, yeah, it's abandoned ship. It's abandoned ship. Just literally erase this from your mind, throw it away, never come back to it. But if it doesn't, which it's a tall task, right? Look at the capitulation here. I don't think it's going to breach that, but who knows, right? That's a pretty big, I don't know what happened here. Earnings catastrophe. Hopefully they fired the CEO after whatever happened here. Hopefully the CEO lost their job on that. Whatever they did there, they didn't give a lot of happy talk to investors. Whatever happened on February 24. So if they have another February 24 moment, this chart is going to just continue to melt down to triple zeros or something, whatever. And then it'll go penny stock land. And that's how stocks become penny stocks, guys. This is how you may be seeing a penny stock born right here. A penny stock being born on our channel. But it may have this counter trend rally, which would be nice if you can catch it. But they're so difficult to catch. That's why I don't like trading them, because they're so hard to catch, and it goes against the trend, which is lower. Okay, next is FO and TSX. Let's take a look at how we're doing here. In that B wave, we're correcting that leg. Yeah, I'm looking at it. It looks like it could be done at any moment. Especially if energy was breaking down. It's in a dangerous area for the reversal right now. I bet Monday doesn't look good for this. So we had this chart. I don't think there's any reason to change it. It's got another leg lower. It needs this leg. I don't know how long. I mean, I'm drawing it. I don't know how low it goes, but it needs, I think, another leg lower. And I think it all makes sense after what happened Friday in the U.S. indices that's going to happen, right? I think energy didn't do that well. TBN. 3, 3, 5. So some kind of running flat sequence here probably. But we'll check the RSI out just to see. Go to the daily. Yep, that's what we've got. Yeah, I think we'll go with that. And then we're coming out. It should bounce here because you have this nice three-wave move. So it hit the box, 2206, 2605. So I like to see it continue higher. We want to take out this peak, of course, to really open up the upside potential. But I don't like to sell it. Yeah, I wouldn't like to sell it. I think it's a good opportunity, and it's probably a good dip buy right there. So this is the most likely path, but this could easily be another 1 2 1 2, and it just goes. So we just don't know. All right, CCU. Yeah, big picture is bull market for years to come. FO, once this finishes, should do the same thing. But it needs the big picture for FO is lower right now. It needs another leg lower. In my opinion. CCU. So we did get that C, how we topped. Yeah, it looks like we topped sort of. Maybe we were off by one swing. Yeah, I guess we were off by one little swing somewhere in here. Maybe it was more like this. That's okay. But the general idea, I think, remains the same, where we come down. So not a lot of changes here. Now we need to know when C is going to end. I don't like how it took the low out there, but I think we have. I think we'll have something like this. And or 2 is already here. So I think you get more downside on this. Now it's got to hold that low at 83. So I think it's got more downside. What is this one? Beverage, alcoholic. Yeah, I'm not sure the fundamental reason why it's going down, but I think I don't like how it bottomed here like this. It's 5 waves down, so I could put the 1 there and the 2 here, or the 1 is about to finish and we counter trend. The only other count that maybe I could force it in is a flat off of this peak here and an A, B, C, and then just change up this. I mean, that would change this, and that would make that the low in a WXY. Let's look at the divergent again. Maybe I missed it. Let's take a look. Yeah, I can't call it that. I'm not going to call it that. So I think we're just going to go with this for now and see what happens. This one's a little more challenging to show. I think this little bit here really bothers me. That would have been better, but it looks like to me you have some kind of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So yeah, I think we'll put the 1 there and we'll put the 2 there, and then I think we'll get the 3 to the downside, and then we'll see if it can hold the low or not. Okay, CGC. Nice move higher, still just taking its time. Yeah, I mean, there's no divergence at the peak, but it's so close. Let's take a look here. All right, so it can easily double correct in 2. We never made it to the 4 and the 2. I think we're going to just expect it to do that. I think we have to expect a double correction. We know the future should come out of this, but I think we're going to get a double correction just looking at what I see today's data. And I would be looking for somewhere around like $1.12 or something like that. It looks like to me that's where it's heading. And I'll just draw a box in that area. Now, I could try to force like a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, but I think this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then a connector, and then this is like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I think it's 3 waves. I think it's 3 waves. I don't think it's 5 waves. So I think this is the count for that one. And then Tilray, I think this will actually line up with Tilray's picture. Tilray, we had 5. So is that a 3 and a 4? Might be. That's a very shallow connector right there, but it looks impulsive on the way down. And this is a higher degree correction. Here we have divergence. We haven't pulled back enough to end it though. Look, we're still in the uptrend. So even though that was a big pullback, so with Tilray, there is a possibility wave 5 extends. and then this is just a 1-2. So I don't think it is. I think if we get more selling on Tuesday, Monday, Tuesday, this I think it's gonna pull back, something like that. Okay, so let's look at the peak. Now you see that peak in 3. We never took out that peak, so that's not a 3. That's what I was thinking. Okay, it's not a 3. So for me, it's not a 3. It would be another 1-2. So I think we'll go with this view. If it's 2, we should see it pull back to maybe 142, 133. If not, it could extend 5. I don't like to sell it. And it was on our live stream. We called the low. We didn't even label the chart. We just draw these 2 lines. We knew it was an end in diagonal and just said, go buy it. Right? I was like, go buy it. So, and then you had the higher high here. They indicated more upside. And then, of course, we had for our members a nice little trade here. Boom, boom. Our elite members. So this was pretty good for our group because we saw the end in diagonal taking shape here, right? So we knew the trend was going to reverse. That was the clue. Okay, next is there a correction to 560 more likely? I think again, I know some people may be hoping for a bigger pullback. I don't think it's going to happen. However, one of the signs I would be looking for, 560 is a long way away, a long way down, okay? So for that to take place, I think the key is watching the Dow Jones. If the Dow Jones breaks 45,000, I think you're going to get a lot of selling. Because what this means is a failed breakout. You have this inverse head and shoulders, you broke out, and breaking back down below it and closing, not a wick, because it can wick below it, but a strong close below it, like on a weekly, will produce, I think, major selling. Because I think what will happen is, typically when I see a pattern like this develop, and we break and we have a false breakout, usually it retraces pretty deep, and I wouldn't be surprised to see it retrace back down to the trend line, the long-term trend line, which would be, I'm just kind of ballparking it here around 40,700, 41,000. So this is a big important technical level we're up against. Okay. If we break that, then you've opened the door up for something more catastrophic in the indices, I think. What would that mean in the SPY? Well, that means a couple things. Let's look at the bigger picture. We got to go to the weekly. The weekly cycle shows no divergence at this peak. There's none. There's no weekly cycle divergence. That's why we don't have it as a 5 yet. It's a 3, 4, right? That's why we have it, or 1, 2, 1, 2. So if we did that, you're like, is this a huge flat? A huge flat, right? Or is this going to be an end in diagonal in 5, right? Like an A, B, C. And that's probably how you would shift the labels. But it's too big for a flat. It went up too high. Although it is in the area. Normally the flat would be rejected at 640. That's why it was so struggling, right? It was struggling here. Normally a flat would not be rejected here. Now what I mean by a flat, guys, it means this is 4. We're still in 4. And this is an A, B, C. Oh my God. Can you believe that? So you're talking 560. Now you're talking 460. Now, you could have convinced me here, maybe, but not here for that. So my guess is it will be, if we melt down and we don't make a 5, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We don't make a 5 and we just melt down. Then this is an ABC. And then you would just have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and it's gonna the top's gonna look something really, really volatile. It's going to have a lot of, it's going to be an end in diagonal. This one's going to be an end in diagonal. So that's what I think it will be. So watch, if you really are worried about, so can I say, no, nothing's ever impossible. 560 is always possible. I think it's highly unlikely. Highly unlikely, because it would require big cap tech to be obliterated. Do you think Nvidia is going back below 100? If you believe Nvidia is going back below 100, then SPY 560 is possible. Do you believe, what's another one that I can think of off the top of my head? Like Netflix is going to be at 800. Do you believe Tesla's going back to 150? Do you believe that, maybe Amazon's going back to like 150, 140? If you believe those things, then 560 can happen. That's what has to happen mechanically for that number to be hit. And we just don't see that in the charts. None of those, that would be a perma bear's dream. That would be, so we just don't see it. But could we see heavier selling from here without a 5? Yes. And that would be an end in diagonal, and that could bring you back down to maybe 620 and a 1, 2. And then the Dow Jones, could come down here, and this is made 5 up. So this would just be a 1, 2. And then, that's what I think will happen. But whatever this pullback is, I don't think it's the end of everything pullback. Okay, it's buyable. But I just don't know. So I think the first warning sign is this break-in. Then that means perhaps you're not going to get a 5, and you're going to get that pullback to 620. But to get to down here, you would have to be hoping for a flat. I think a flat. And I don't know I don't know if that's possible looking at big cap tech's charts as of now. China would have to do some massive retaliation. Like we would have to be going to war with them or something, or something else for the flat. I mean, a flat would be, imagine if it's that. That would be insane. Technically, it's possible on the SPY to be a flat. It is possible. It's what, maybe less than a 5% chance? I think if you could get back below the all-time high, then the flat's in play. So it's got a lot to do. I don't think that's going to happen. I really think this is some kind of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 bigger pullback. That's what I think. Or 1, 2, 1, 2. It's one or the other. That's what I think it is right now. Okay. Oops, sorry about that. Let me go back here, guys. Let's go back to our questions. Got a lot of super chats I'm trying to go through here. Let's take a look here at this other one, Xterra. GRR. Okay, it looks like we've done that one before. What's going on here? So it looks like maybe one more low. Let's see if it's maintaining bullish divergence. Divergence is starting to be erased. It's starting to accelerate lower. Again, why I do not trade the go to zero charts. I know people love them. But if that goes down and takes that out, then it's going to be a complete meltdown. It's what will happen is this will become a 1-2, 1-2, and it will be a massive catastrophe for investors. We'll likely go back all the way back down to this $10 area. So while I have this count, I don't recommend buying it. But I do think if the count holds up, you have one more low. And possibly, if you're lucky, you want to stick your neck out, you can time the bottom. That's all I can tell you on that one. Okay, CMG. CMG is one that I've kept our elite members out of. And we have been patient. We've probably finished that B wave. We have a box on it at $33.99, maybe $29. So yes, eventually this correction should end. one swing down. And we pretty much avoided this whole catastrophe. And I do believe when Chipotle's in the box, the food sector, your Shake Shacks, your Wingstops, your Kavas, they're probably all going to be trading together and probably need to be all looked at by you for where they are. But I think this needs another swing down. Okay, that one's pretty straightforward. We have that one on our watch list. And then Ethereum double corrected on us. We had the 5 waves up. Of course, we knew that we called the top on 5. Unfortunately, we had this 3-wave dip. Now, we did buy this and made this nice little reaction. Again, this is a lesson, always taking some profit, but you just never know what the market has in store for you. And it decided to double correct. So we've updated the chart accordingly in this ABC connector. And that gave us a new box with a confluence at this level. And that's where it found its first bid. Right here, but I think it still has another leg lower in it. It looks incomplete. It looks like we need a 5. So I think it could come back down into the box again. There's your wave 4 cluster. So it makes sense technically. It did, so it's just a double correction. We may not, again, it's happened so fast, we may not have seen the subdivisions properly. So that it could be 2, but we would need to start to rally and come back above 41, maybe even 4,200. Then we can call that low in. But it turned into just like a double correction is what happened. But we're obviously 5 waves. Again, bigger picture looks pretty good to me. We had a massive correction. We have a higher high and another higher high. We have 5 waves up. Everything looks okay to me. And I do believe we broke this high, right? I think that high was broken, the all-time high, if I remember right. Yeah. So this is just going to require patience and strategic accumulation. And you have to have the long game in mind. And if you do that, you'll be a very happy person in the future. If you're looking for instant gratification, obviously Friday you didn't find that. You found horror, a horror show. But our members know and are calm because we understand the market can double correct. If you don't follow me, you think the market's unpredictable, it's erratic, it's random. It's not. I mean, this was just a double correction, and that's why I said Bitcoin. I mean, that's why it hit our box to the penny and went off. It wasn't because I'm an insider and I'm making the market. It's the market's technical like that. The market's super technical. And that's why this system has an edge, and so when Bitcoin's in free fall, the minute it goes into free fall, we're like, oh, it's in free fall, it must be double correct, and we're very calm about this, right? We're very calm, like we're not like, oh my God, what's happening? Oh, is it random? We don't know, and we're running around and freaking out because we always know the bull case and the bear case, right? And we always understand, and I tell my members, this is the path. I think it is, but there's an alternative path if it happens. And if it did, this is where you want to buy it. And that's why we had this box. Just like this was our dump area. It's like, hey, there's still a possibility. This is just a 3-wave connector. And so if it dumps, you want to be able to be ready to buy that. And that's how I'm like trying to tell our members. We don't pound our chests and go, this is the top or this is the bottom. No, we show our possible paths and then we try to make some trade-in decisions from those possibilities. And then I bet one of my followers did have a bid here, a limit buy on that. I bet they did, and somebody made money on that. Unfortunately, it happened so fast I couldn't get an update out to tell you guys that it was breaking a double correction. But that's all this did. The market was double correcting. That's all it did, double correction. No big deal. That happens all the time in markets. It doesn't change the big picture at all. Now, trade desk is really tough. I'll be honest. Trade desk could have a major low. I just not willing to stick my neck out on it, or get my members trapped up in that. What do I mean by that? So trade desk, my current count is this. We had this flat, and again we called the flat here. And I know some of my members actually shorted and profited from this huge move down. I didn't tell them to do that. They just did it on their own. But we called it a flat because we had 3 waves. We didn't see 5, right? So it's like high risk for a flat. But then when we made this lower low here, we gave a short box. Unfortunately, just didn't quite get to it. And then we had this massive collapse. Now, I look at this as 5 waves down. I thought the low could have been here. I really did. Maybe. Because of when we took this high out. But what it did is it turned into a bigger correct connector. So now, you're still in the flat. And you have a 1, 2. And I mean, that's not 3. So that would be another 1, 2. You know, here. So I can't recommend buying it, right? But would I recommend shorting? I can't either, because then I'll show you the other case. So I personally think this is the count, and I should get rid of this box. I think this is the count. I don't know where it ends. It could end all the way down at the 1795 or 2966. If I look at the fractal of Trade Desk, it made a similar flat here, and it crashed. And we came back to the last peak, which almost looks like a flat in itself. You see how it came back down to these peaks? So where are those peaks now? So here that was the child. Here's the parent flat. Parent, we crash. We never got to the peaks. The peaks are right here. So that's why I drew the line. So maybe our target is somewhere around 27, 21, or in this vicinity. And that's like the fractal. That's using the fractal. So maybe that's, you know, again, I don't have this drawn perfectly right now, but maybe that's where this thing finally ends here. So that's kind of where I was going to be interested in buying it, just as kind of a strategic buy. But I wanted, you know, if of course the count looked okay to me and the RSI, assuming those were fine. So maybe we get something like this. Now, if we don't get that, then what happened here is a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5. Why I don't like that count? Because 4 is huge. You know, it's a huge correct in this whole cycle. And this 5 is only 3 waves. So, and if you put, and so I'm going to go with more downside. So I think there's more downside coming in this symbol. For whatever reason. Will it end? Yes. The bigger picture, it's got higher highs. It's just in a massive top. Just as, like I said, this is the parent, and there's the little child, right? This is so you see, it's kind of the same idea. So also, if you look at this. Right, that's a huge double top. Imagine all the trap buyers here. Think about it, all the trap buyers. And they were pumping this thing on CNBC, all the smart people. You know, they were all buying this. Let me see if I can find my box there. Yeah. They were all buying this in this area, general area. All of those people will soon be underwater. And they're going to panic, and that's what's going to push this price down. And that's why I said it could even go lower. It could even come down to the historic trend line. So they were pushing it here. Elliott Wave Sage, you know, we bought it. Elliott Wave Sage bought this thing way back on earnings there in a YOLO. That was back when I was doing YOLO stuff. I used to be a little more reckless trading, but I YOLO'd into earnings. I think it was this earnings right here. That guy, that earnings report. 10 May 2018. I had a massive YOLO in it. As you can see, I got paid. And that's where I bought it. Now I sold it a long time ago, right? I think I sold it like somewhere up around in here. But a lot of investors didn't. A lot of investors bought it from me up here because I bought it down here. And I keep joking. I'm like, I wonder if I can get a chance to buy it back again at the same price down here one day. So we'll see. But this made me a ton of money. It was just insane, but it was stupid trade for me. It was back in my YOLO days. It was a YOLO day. But I don't trade like that anymore. Because it's just too risky. And as you get older, you just don't have the time left to recover from mistakes. But back then, I guess I was more brave. But anyway, that Trade Desk have a lot of history with this stock. And the personality of it, it has massive crashes. When it crashes, it really does try to shake you out. And that's what happened here. And even here. So anyway, we'll see where it goes. We'll see where it goes, man. Yeah, thanks. Yeah, Wedge 22 brings up a good point. It's nice being up so much on most of your trades, so yesterday's dump didn't hurt as much. When you buy it, it's so important. It's so true. So true. First Majestic Silver. That was a good one for our elite members. And we, again, we're showing 4s and 5s in the metals. Depending on how I label this, I kept saying we could be in a bigger 4 now. I still think we could make one more. We should make one more high. This 4 would be on the same degree as that. So that would be a long consolidation potentially for one more high, or it could become a 1-2, 1-2, which is what I think it would be. But we don't have enough data to know that, so we don't want to top tick the market and give up a lot of upside. So we just assume either 5 will extend here and this could become a 1-2, or be open to the fact that, yeah, a bigger correction started, and then we'll have to navigate that. We can't expect maybe a bounce around 1305. It may have already tried to bottom early here. So we'll see if that can hold up and the bull market can continue in the short term. This is one we've traded. We entered this here at 771, right? It looked at the time late in the trend, and then it turned out not to be so late. And that's why it's always important to buy these things at the boxes and that time the market, because you just never know how crazy these things will go. Let's look at the RSI. You see we're still in the 5. We're still in the 5. Now, if we take out this peak, then this changes things a little bit. Then this will become a 1-2 and not a 4. And then the extension can really continue. So I think the next week is going to really define this on the midterm cycle or not. So yeah, so we done pretty well with this one. We had a couple buys here, all throughout the journey, and we'll see where it goes. Let's look at the bigger picture on the historic chart. We have some resistance coming up at 17, and then of course all-time high resistance at 23. I mean, silver is at 50, and we're not at all-time highs on the miners. What that tells me is people don't believe the price is going to stick. So the longer we stay above 50, the more likely this is going to go back up here, because right in 2011, silver was the same price. So what the market is saying is BS. Silver is not going to be 50. It's going to be back at $10. You dummies buying it. So the miners aren't getting credit. But when people start to really believe that, oh my gosh, it's not coming down, oh my gosh, it really is going to be this price, then this will just one day, I think, just boom, it'll be up here, mispriced. And that's what we don't want to miss. And that's why I keep saying, don't try to time the market. Just, especially if you bottom down here, just got to hold, because I think they haven't seen their real move that I think we all are expecting to see in this cycle. Okay. BCHG, I do have a chart on that. Got to update that. It looks like it went down, broke my pivot, did break it a little bit. It's still valid here. Again, this is maybe a little too bullish, the setup. Some kind of cup and handle maybe, or something, or some kind of bullish consolidation pattern here. Let's take a look. Yeah, it's valid. The 1-2, 1-2 is valid. This can go either way. I think the worst case scenario here is something like this. Back down to 375 and a double correction in this area. That'd be the worst case scenario for it. I do think like LTCN, it should come out with 5 off this low. We did have the box here, right? And I do remember telling people live stream, whoever is like, guys, buy it now, just buy it. And we had this big, nice little reversal. So I don't know, maybe we'll make another big left shoulder, a head, and a right. Like, I don't know how this will play out, but I think for now you just want to hold it again, you know. And we do think it's going to go to like $32 when it's all said and done. So that's what we're looking for. And again, way back, if you followed me in my early days, we had to buy here at $1, and I believe a lot of people made a lot of money on that call. So sometimes you get this, sometimes it takes a little more time. Like, remember, you see this consolidation like we have here? It almost looks like the same thing, right? You come out, right? You come out, and then you kind of start to, you know, start to get, you know, kind of jammed up a little bit, jammed up, and then you break out. I'm hoping that's what we have happen once we take this high out at 514. So that's what I'm hoping for. But I think we're in this like some kind of consolidation, like just like you kind of saw here. It's, you know, because what's happened is the bears lost control of the market and then they gave up. And I think that's kind of what's happening here. Because remember, it was a money tree for them, right? This was the money tree. And now now they're underwater. If they've been shorting since April, they're underwater. And they keep losing and losing. Eventually they'll capitulate. And that's what you saw here. The same thing. All right, JD. All right, JD, we have it coming off of a box. Nice little bounce here. Probably just need to update that as 5 waves. And then pull them back. So we should see this. You would expect it to make another swing higher. Hopefully come out of that area. We also had a box here and a box here. But why I haven't recommended it to my members and show it is I only see 3. Okay, I mean, again, we have to be intellectually honest. I don't see 5 waves. I see 3. So I see a corrective move. We really need to take out 46.97 to give us more confidence in this count. So how I show it this way, we are in a new uptrend. We have to stay above this $30. If we don't, it has a risk of a double correction and breaking this low. The other thing is what you're hoping for maybe is a leading diagonal coming out. So that's what I think the bulls are hoping for, you know, and then I think the bears are hoping for a rejection. So this is even though it seems like it's down a lot and it's low risk, it actually is more higher risk to buy than I would like. I do show it in a bullish count, but I would be careful still in it until we get more confirmation. But I mean, we only see 3, we see 3, we see 5. So maybe we'll get this 3, but then what happens there? What if we melt down? We can. So this one's so I would say, you know, also we've seen China pump a lot, and this still is not pumping. So what's going to happen when China pulls back, which it's doing now? So I show this, but then China's pulling back. So it's like we may wake up on Sunday and this is broken, and then this chart's invalidated, and then this was just an ABC. So I think you got to be really careful in this. I wish I could be more confident in my forecast. I think this one's risky. I think it's risky, and I would be careful if you're in it. That's all I really can say about it. Alts broke the low. Let's take a look at it. Alts. Well, if it's after hours, I don't consider that in my data. So after hours is irrelevant to me. It's irrelevant. So to me, alts I would be looking at this chart, still looking at it as a buy, and whatever happened after hours is just meaningless noise. Bull. Let's look at bull. Yeah, how did bull do? Because bull was an interesting setup. Again, not without risk. But let's see what that ended up doing. Did it hold that low? It looks like it broke it. So it invalidated the bullish count. So now you have 3 in a connector. So yeah, now you go lower. So you got a little bit of a reaction here, and now you have another leg lower. I do think it's going to swing out of this structure at some point, as long as it can stay above that low. So again, why do I talk about bull? Because it's not a go to zero yet. Now you break that low, you won't see me talk about it much anymore. So yeah, I think it's going to try to push and retest that low. It's definitely again a high risk trade, but high reward. It could even break the low and still whipsaw around. So I would just let's just see what happens. I'm more curious than anything. I don't think I would recommend trading it anymore now that it broke the structure. So yeah, I think you know the reaction was very small, but now it's just it's turned into a WXY another, and so it's I think it's going to retest this lower, even break it now. So yeah, I wouldn't recommend it, but I am curious on how this evolves here, where it goes from there. What's this? Alts WLFI. I'm not sure what you mean by alts WLFI, or maybe that's the symbol WLFI. Yeah, I'm not sure what you mean by alts WLFY. I don't know how to analyze that. NKTX. So we're looking for something like this. Doesn't change the big picture, just the path to get there. And still looking here. Let's take another look. Higher lows. Higher lows. So yeah, nothing changes. So I go with this count for now. I guess we'll know soon enough. If we do break lower, we would have to go with a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then we would be looking at 199, and then hopefully come out. The most bearish view is we're still in 2, and then it's some kind of WXY, and then we hit that 180 area, which I thought we were going to hit anyway, but we fell a little short. I had kept telling members that 180 would be the likely target. We fell a little short, so maybe the market will still come back to that level. So again, I think if you're trading, you got to look at the big picture, and you see this inverse head and shoulders here. We broke out, and then you have an even bigger reversal pattern likely to do the same thing here. So it's just, we just don't know the day the market makers are going to mark it up. We just don't know when that day is coming, but perhaps it may be coming pretty soon. That's what we're hoping for. MPW. Let's take a look at how this is going. Looks like maybe pulling back in another 1-2-1-2 setup. Let's see the RSI and check it out. That's too strong. Yeah, some kind of a flat. Maybe let's take another look. I don't think it's corrective, but we need to look at that because it's only 3 swings up. Yeah, it looks like a flat off of this peak. It just seems a little too high, but yeah, it's too high. So we have to look at it as a corrective move, maybe. Let's go to the 4-hour. Yeah, looking at it now, we probably just have it labeled. We just need to label it a little different. We have to label it like that. So we just label them was off just a little bit, but I still think the path is still sound. Yeah, small connector. It could still see 474, but I still think it still resolves and comes out of this higher. Vuzi, we called that wave 5 done for our members, and of course it pulled back on Friday. Not a surprise. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We called the 5, and now we're pulling back. We could pull back to 267, 260 to 4, right? So this correction may have just gotten started. So we're looking for that, right? Something like that. So then, but again, bigger picture, we should be okay. We've even taken out this peak. We almost took out that one. I mean, it looks really nice to me. I like to stay long. But obviously, it's in the Russell Index, and if the Russell Index is selling off, it's unlikely this will do anything. So I would expect more downside. Now, it could have we have seen some of these really bullish small caps turn sooner. It could bounce at 346, but it's susceptible to make a connector wave there. So you could try maybe 2 ends here. It could become a connector wave. Let's see if it's gone deep enough to end. Yeah, it looks like it's ended the cycle. So to me, it is in 2. So maybe you'll get a bounce here. If you're lucky, that's 2. If not, you'll get another low later. MSOS. Looks like it should be a box right there, looking at the chart. Yeah, you're in a box. So you would expect MSOS to rally from here and continue higher. That one's pretty straightforward. SOLT, that one, yeah, let's see what happened to that after. Well, it's probably not updated with that data after hours. Yeah, look at that, just a complete meltdown. We had a box and it went through it. Typically, when you go through the box, it usually double corrects, and that's what happened here. And I bet that's where the next area would be. So it tried to rally here, it failed, and then it double corrected, and it's in another area. You can try it again, and we'll see if it can hold going into trading. You know, if it can't hold that level, right, then it's going to go down to that $12 level we had been talking about, which, like I said, you're in the connector of a connector, so this is really tough to trade. But I think this we'll go with discount for now. We'll just go with this one for now, and you guys can decide how you want to trade it. LPSN. Yeah, unfortunately, it just keeps extending lower. Eventually, it will end. The pain will be too great, and people will capitulate. But it still looks like it's still got more downside. Let's hope it's not erasing divergence and extending. Looks like it did there, but let's go to the daily. It's about to. So you got to be really careful in it. This could be another 1-2, and that could result in even more catastrophic selling. I don't know what's going on with the company fundamentally, but obviously something really broke. The wheels fell off the bus recently. So I would almost anticipate this being another 1-2, and then you could have another free fall down. So yeah, it just keeps extending, and this is it's a catastrophe for investors and traders. Which why is like once it becomes a go to zero, I just throw the chart away. This is a good example because it could just keep literally. It may never recover. It can even go bankrupt for all we know. A reverse split's coming Monday. Oh, that's going to change things. Okay, that will definitely change the chart a little bit. If see, I worry. We still have a little bullish divergence and a little bit. So maybe if I was like hopium, like okay, maybe just maybe I could do this and give you some happy talk and say the low's in. And ironically, right when it reverse splits, go figure the day that the sequence ends, they reverse split. So yeah, I think if that reverse split issues and it doesn't react higher, it's do or die. And I think it's kind of interesting. So it looked like to me it wanted to continue lower. It's on the edge of the cliff. It seems like it's just about, but it technically it hasn't done it yet. So there is a little bit of hope. It's finished. It's a little bit of hope. So let's see what happens. Yeah, maybe. So we'll see. I think when that When that stock starts to trade, we'll know. If it starts to go higher right away, then it's this. It's at a very pivotal moment. The stock's at a very pivotal moment. With the reverse split, I think that's kind of spooky, the timing that our count ends the day they reverse split. So my guess is now that changes things. I didn't see that part of your comment. Yeah, I wonder if it's going to run. That reverse split's going to make it run. Yeah. BTCFX. Never heard of that one. Looks like we've looked at it before at some point. What's going on here? Oh, it's one of these illiquid. Okay, there we go. All right, so we have this count. Probably topped here, probably in a flat. We have this box here. Yeah, maybe this predicted what was going to happen. But see, I don't like how short that 3 is, but it isn't the shortest. We're still in the cycle. So I guess looking at what happened with Bitcoin, perhaps we'll get that flat to finish. It may not hit this box. I think that box could be too bearish, but I think it's in a flat, right? It's in a flat. So I think you got. So maybe we'll target this area. Maybe this is a better area to target. 25.60, 23.90. But it still didn't change the gist of what we had, right? It was basically the same thing, and then we'll look for more upside. So that's what we're looking for, something like that. Okay. OEPIX. All right. Oil and gas probably pulling back off of this low. Again, not enough data to do proper RSI analysis, so we'll just kind of look at it from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So probably again in a flat, and we'll come out. So oil, obviously, energy's selling off, right? It's in a bigger correction. So it could even pull back as low as this box here, but I think it'll be okay. So if you're long-term minded, this is great for accumulation, especially if you get down to the 59 area and below. So something like that is possible, but it doesn't change. This is the most important level, this low right there. Okay. But yeah, that looks like a flat, and it looks very similar to all the energy trades. A lot of energy charts hit wave 5s, like HP. We had that in a 5. This one's getting close to a box here. I need to go back and look at why we drew it that way. This is probably racing divergence though. Yeah, so that's okay. Let's take a look at what we've got going on. Some kind of 1, 2. So again, I got to move my lines all around. They're all over each other. And then, yeah, someone's like, oh, all these lines are wrong. You don't know what... Guys, I have to put the lines somewhere on the drawing. And I don't have time to make it all pretty because I'm trying to go through all these symbols. So if you're like upset that these lines don't look right up here, well, I mean, I can't be perfect. And that's just I'm trying to go through symbols quickly, and I just don't have time to make it all perfect. But we definitely, I'll label the price action for you. Okay, we broke the high. I'm not sure why I put the box there. I guess maybe I was worried of hitting this trend line. I don't know. I think the box is irrelevant. I think we need to get rid of that. That will make us make the wrong decision. So I think we just trade this. Yeah, it's into a breakout. So look at all the 4s and 5s yet to come. So you just want to sit tight and hold. Enjoy the ride. Enjoy the ride. There's a lot of 4s and 5s left in this thing. Fidelity Select Gold. Ooh, I wish my 401k had that as a fund. I don't know, you're lucky if you can invest in that, or you buy it through your IRA. That's fine, but like, I know my 401k doesn't have shit like this in it. That's too bad. See, Fidelity has got, the 2030 funds and all this other stuff that doesn't really help anybody make really good money unless you can trade the indices. But I wish they would have more of these kind of funds. But I guess too many people would make too much money, so they don't want that. So, but if you can get it in your IRA, this was a good one. This is a good one. Yeah, I think the fun is just getting going. Fun is just getting going. Okay, SPGI. S&P Global. Yeah, maybe that's topped here. So this was our last chart. Like that. I bet that's in there. Let's look at how big. Again, we could still be extending in 5. Let's look at the monthly. It looks like we broke the cycle. So yeah, we're in this 4 now. You see that monthly. This 4 is likely to have to come all the way down. That stochastic RSI. So it's in a correction. It's going to take a little time. It's probably due a relief rally soon, hopefully. Maybe making a 5 and an ABC. You know, I'm thinking it's some kind of A, B, C, something like that is probably what you're going to get out of it. So again, these corrective structures can be so different. So that's just what I'm thinking right now based on what I'm seeing. So it looks like this should come to an end and we should rally. I wouldn't be surprised if that rally fails at some point for another move down in 4. Right, and then we'll get 5. So I'm looking for that. And of course, if you're a buyer, you're hoping for another 1, 2, which you can't rule out. This could become something more bullish. This may not be 5, of course. So we like to buy this 3-wave dip. If we can get a nice 3-wave dip, and probably somewhere around this 427, 420 area, that would be the area to get interested in it, is my thinking. All right, let's keep going. Bayer, let's see here, Bayer. Yeah, the podcast and stuff. Well, if anyone's ever interested in having me on Spaces or something like that, you can DM me and my ex. And if you're legitimate, I don't mind doing that type of thing. Bayer, but I get a lot of scammers, guys. You can't believe how many scammers I get trying to think I'm stupid. Okay, 5. That looks like 5 to me right there. Let's see if we've pulled back or not. Yeah, that's a 5. But we're still in the cycle. So we can't call a top. So I don't want to give you an impression and call a top, but it does look. You know, looking at it, we have this. This is what we have here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2. Now that's only 3. So if we're in a flat, it will come back down to $24. If it's not in a flat, it's about to have a big breakout. And we did call the low on our live stream. I remember doing this one for probably you. We called the low. And it's, hey, that's a great sign. Look at the reversal. Look at that. Look at that. So yeah, that's looking good. That's looking good. Puma. Didn't this one get like destroyed or something? Yeah. So probably. One more low. Or we're still probably either still in 4 and one more low. It's tough to say. So if the weekly cycle breaks this trend line, the correction's over. Or the monthly as well. It's almost like, but it's still in the correction. The monthly's actually showing bullish divergence, hitting divergence. Look at the stochastic; it's turning higher. So it's bottoming. It's starting to turn. It may turn early. We may not have all the price data on this TradingView app. It may have already bottomed here, and we just don't see it. So I would not be super bearish on this anymore. I can't though rule out another low, but it's close to a major low. Okay, LAH and Nike is also. So I don't know. They kind of go together, right? Right. What's going on here? So it's in this box, erratic, and I would still be very careful. Let's look at the RSI on it. We didn't take that peak out, but the weekly is the most important. We just took it out. Looks like it double corrected higher on us. So yeah, this is the line in the sand. So I would still go with this chart. I would say as long as it's below that line, it's susceptible to this big meltdown I have. If it can take it out, it negates it, and then we'll have to redo the chart. I'd be really careful in it. I think I don't know how low it's going to go, obviously, but I think it needs to finish this sequence lower, and then it can find a bottom. I won't change my view on this. I do remember this, and I think it's consistent with like my American Airlines view as well. Okay, the DAX index. Yeah, DAX index looks okay. It looks like it should make another high at least. And if you remember, guys, the DAX index was one I used to cover when we were down here, and I said it would be one of the best performing ones because we had this 1-2-1-2 setup, and I was like, guys, this is showing like a real. And that back then it made no sense to us down here. I'm sorry, 1-2-1-2 here was down here. It made no sense to us why, but now it made sense. But like all good things come to an end. We should be in a 4. The question is that the 4 or not? I think we have to look. No, so we're still extending. So the DAX index still has more upside in its grand super cycle. It's not over yet. It's still in 5, I think. Let's take a look at where we are currently. So right there, that's what I think. Yeah, and I think that's what the EWG shows. Something like this is possible. So I'm going to draw a box here. I think it's going to be important to see how this plays out. A, B, C drop down into this box. But I think the way to time the DAX is through the EWG, because the EWG is clearer in the structure. So I think it's something like this, and I'm going to go with a flat, something like that. It could still go deeper though. That's what the tricky thing about flats. And since it is a higher degree wave 4, it could be. It may double correct. This one was pretty much a crash, but let's see how long it took. Didn't take long. This was the COVID crash. So that was like 2 or 3 months. So this may not take a long time. Could it crash back down again? It may. So I think you got to be careful, but I do think it's going to go lower because I don't think it's ready for 3, because the other count is very bullish. It would be 1, 2, 1, 2. And it's gonna moon, right? It would be a 1, 2, 1, 2, and I think it would be silly to label it that way. It would be that's not the likely path. So I think this is a likely path, but I can't rule out that silly path, 1, 2, 1, 2, and then the thing goes to 29,000 before you realize what happens. So I can't say that that's negated, but I think after looking at the U.S. price action Friday, I don't think that's happening. So. Anyway, we'll go with discount on the DAX. All right. D-Pro, yeah, Dragonfly, looking for 20 bucks on that, but it's been in these 4s and 5s that is just hard to hold in there for that. So I've updated that chart, and it looks like we're in another 4 and 5. So hopefully we just keep grinding higher. What I saw happen on Friday was I look at this as a 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 3, 4, 5. So put the 5 here, put the 3 there. Small connector. So maybe a little bit more downside in this 4. So it's in this series of 4s and 5s. Maybe 1072 could be the next low before the next pump, because it tends to just violently move higher and then violently crash. So we'll go with something like that, but we like to continue to hold it. It really has no chart resistance until this area. I think it's just going to continue to grind higher into this zone. Serve, Serve, they decided to do some kind of offering. Of course, the short traders took advantage of that fear. Let's take a look. So it looks like from our boxes, we have this box to elite members. We made, it looks like 5 waves up from here to me. Let's take another look here. Probably put that 5 there, probably in some kind of flat. If it's a flat, we need one more low, probably fill that gap here. So reminds me of Soundhound's charts. Really big flats that are nasty shakeouts that punish the chasers and destroy, the short-term traders and people that want immediate gratification. So I think it's something like that right now. That's how I would update Serve. Let's take another look. We haven't taken that peak out, so even if it's corrective, that would be expected to happen. We do have a higher high here. Let me see if it, let me look at that move. Notice how it got rejected right at the 1784. So that's actually bearish, to be honest, but that would be 3 waves. But we've looked at the whole sequence. You have 5 swings, and that's usually not how a corrective move ends. If this was corrective from here, if this was in a bigger bear advance, we need to take this out. So that's what's telling me it's still got more upside left. So that's why, and I do think it's going to break out of this at some point in the future. So yeah, I think we'll go with this for now. We'll just label it as a 1-2-1-2, and see what happens as the market continues to trade this month. WLFI. I typed that in, man, and nothing came up, I think, unless I typed it in wrong. See, nothing's coming up. Unless you mean the crypto. So you can put in your comments if you want the crypto or not. I don't see a stock with that symbol. So TradingView just doesn't have it in it for some reason. Okay, PPTA. Looks like we had that upside call right here. Let's update our chart with the data. Probably something like that. Let's look at this. What's going on here? Look at that. We haven't taken that peak out. We have on the monthly. So the higher time frame always rules, but it would be nice to take that peak out even on the weekly. Looking at the chart. Yeah, I'd like to see a bigger pullback and one more high to finish this thing out. We're still extending on the shorter cycle, but we are in 5. So we're still in this wave 5 blow off top as of now. Something like that. All right, so you get the idea. So like most of the resources and materials are showing like 4s and 5s coming, unless it can surprise us with more extension. CRML. We did have the breakout. It just didn't give anyone an opportunity to buy it when we identified it. Obviously, this is a race and divergence, so we're gonna have to update this chart. Yeah, actually, that one's not a 3. So it's got a lot more upside, but it's going to be violent, right? Because look at these extended fifth waves. Remember, we usually lose the whole 5. So this is going to have violent moves in both directions, but should generally continue higher. If you bought it early enough, you'll be okay. If not, you're going to be whipsawed around on this, I think. So I still see more upside coming. One, two, three, four, 5. So I think that's the chart we'll go with. And I still think it continues higher for now, for the time being. Okay, I think that's good. All right. Let's take a look here. Looks like it's making some kind of flat in 2. It needs to hold $2 or it negates the bullish view, and likely you're going to break the all-time the low, and it totally messes up the chart. So I do think we'll go with this count, and it really has to make a turn soon. A, B, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So maybe a bounce and one more low, but it's running out of space. If you break this, this would be the connector, and then you would have WX. Y, then you would retest that low, and if it could hold that, then we just move the 2 over. So it's right at it's right on the edge, of the invalidation, but it hasn't been yet. ZNA. Right, looks like you've got some kind of 3 waves down here and 5 waves up. So yeah, it looks to me like it's moving in 3 wave sequences. Let's see. Something like that. And then so you have something like this happening here, right? The question is C going to just melt up, or are you going to get another like, right? You could do something like that. So it's tough. I think it can go either way. So I think you have to decide, but it looks like it's ready for that leg higher. It's breaking out here. 3. A, B, C, D, E. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for 1, 2. And then this could be another 1, 2. It could be a flat, so I'll leave it unlabeled. But basically, you need to stay above 470 for this bullish count to play out. Yeah, what's notable to me on this is the weekly taking out that, and it's open. See, it's turning up. So people are buying it. It's ready to advance into this bigger push higher. All right. Okay, it's crypto. Okay, I didn't know. All right, I just wanted to make sure what it was. I didn't know what it was. Let's look at another exchange just to make sure that's that's what happened to a lot of these coins. Let's just look at a few of them. Okay, they all did the same thing. All right, we'll look at Binance. So what we usually just assume is a 1 and you're in some kind of correction. That's what you hope for. So you need 3 waves down. So the only way to really analyze a coin like this is to do something like that, and then look at it from a double correction standpoint and try to count the waves. And I think it's missing, like most of crypto, one more low, if that's the case. And that's 1, 2. So you'd want to see that one last push lower. That would be more technically complete. But again, we may not see the subdivisions. It happens so fast. So there's a chance that is, so we don't know yet. That's why the market's kind of confused. It's stuck here. If we start to go higher and we take out, we can come back, maybe even back up to 17, then the low's in. Okay, that low's in. So I think even from a box standpoint, you wick through. There was no way, it was just so illiquid. But I think you'll go with that. And you should get a reaction, or if you're lucky, new highs. So that's that. That's how I look at that. All right, LPTH. Looking like it's probably topped in a wave 3 here. Breaking out of a big consolidation as well, but making a lower low on 3. So we never like that, those counts, but the sea legs can be quite profitable, as we know. So I bet it has more upside. Looking at the chart, see that? Look at that. So this is a huge extended 5th wave. So those wave 5s usually collapse. They usually go all the way back down. So you could be chasing, we'll take another look at it. Let's see here. Yeah, I think it needs at least another swing higher, but I don't know. Maybe we're off by a swing. But once this finishes, it should have a spectacular collapse because you have this lower low. Let's take a look here. Now we did a risk divergence, so maybe we could talk ourselves out of that. So I think because of the risk divergence, the best way to trade it would be, assume it's in a bull market until proven otherwise. So we're just going to manage it as a bull market from this low. We're not going to worry too much about the final leg lower until we get data to show that is emerging. I think you just trade it as a bull market. So I think this is the count we'll go with. And it obviously that 3's in with that big drop. So you're in a 4. You gotta be careful. That 4 can drop pretty substantially. So, all right, something like that. Okay, LITN. LITN. I'm not seeing that come up. If you'll have to check the symbol or something and see if that's the right symbol, or if not, TradingView just doesn't have it in there. BITF. Whoops. BITF. Again, we had the buy here. Essentially went vertical. It's funny, man. It's funny how many people will dislike my live stream videos in the comments, and then I give this information away for free, and I still get people dislike. It's so crazy. I guess people just get angry or something. They don't want to make money. So here's another one that pretty much went vertical from our box, and it does look like that's a 3. Obviously a 3. Let's take another look at the shorter time frame. Yeah, see, when you look at it this way, let's just maybe take a step back. 1. Let's label it and see where we go. Five. So that's the count I'll go with for now. I don't like to sell it, but do what's best for you. It's likely to just continue to extend and continue. But this pullback obviously is we don't have a clear connector. We can't really trade that pullback, but we would expect it to continue higher. Okay, the longer time frame looks great. It looks great. See, it's not a go to zero. It held that low. Held that low. It's a 1-2, 1-2. So this chart is not a go to zero. And this is one that LUA says likes. Right? We like that chart. So yeah, so there you go. All right. Riot. We're worried about Riot being in a 5th wave after what happened Friday. I think we know why. Let's see. That was our last chart I gave members on Riot. So we're looking for a pullback, maybe down to like $16, $17. But this is buyable, and it's if you bought in these lower areas, you would be foolish to time the market, in my opinion. But do what's best for you. We had to buy for elite members at $8, and I was pounding the table buying it here, and I think some even bought it lower. So you don't want to, like I said, this pullback should be bought. If it stops here, then you're just getting an extension in 5. So in fact we haven't had enough of a pullback to call this 2 yet, but it seems likely given what just happened in the market. Okay, look at that. That's a 5. Let's look at the 4-hour. It's a 5. So get ready. Yeah, it's going to be some selling, I think, in Riot. So I guess what I'm saying, I think there's going to be some selling here. All right. Crypto, FIL, Algo. Ooh, that's ugly. Now, it totally negated the bullish case. So it had a chance and broke the low. So this is now correcting, and it's going down. It's taking a whole nother leg lower. So we had 5 down, and then we had this 3-wave move up, and now we're going back down. So maybe I'll do a whipsaw. Let's take a look. What did we have here? WXY. I mean, there's a possibility of a whipsaw move, but I don't like to trade a chart like this. Again, this is a chart I just throw away. I see it, and the minute I see a chart like this, I just throw it away. I could care less because it's just there's just so much clearer setups than this. But I wouldn't be surprised to see something like this emerge. So the target, we could see if there's a target we can look for. That's pretty low. I don't know if it'll get all the way down to 13 cents, but if we look at this count, it looks like it's entering a wave 3 to the downside. And I think it's going to need to finish that sequence lower, unfortunately. Okay. I wouldn't be surprised it does something like that. It is just a complete guess on my part. It can easily just be a go to zero crypto now. Breaking these lows opens up even a Luna type situation, and we just don't know if that's the case. I wouldn't recommend buying it. Okay, Algo. Algo here. Y, 3 up, 3 down, 3 up, middle area. So we don't have it. We do have a lower low. So that means it can easily go lower from there. So again, I wouldn't recommend trading it. It's in the middle area, so it's not going to be very clear where it wants to go. It's in the middle area, and it hasn't decided. You break this low, meltdown. You break this high, it could swing up. So I would just be on the sidelines and let the market tell me what to do. So it's in some kind of, it's stuck. So it's tough. I wish I could give a better picture, but I think you're just going to have to wait and see which breaks. It looks like it's going to break lower. I mean, to be honest with you, I think this one doesn't look good either. It doesn't look healthy to me, and I wouldn't be surprised to see it do almost like what Altcoin did, and it does, like, again, its own version of the whipsaw, and it continues lower and then whips around higher. I think it's going to do the same thing. I just don't know how low it's going to go. That's what I suspect, but there's not enough data to even. I'm just totally, because it's in the there's been no, the market hasn't given us any direction on where the trend is. It's basically telling us the market's indecisive and doesn't understand the direct. So it's a stalemate. It's like two opponents that are stuck, and they're waiting for each other to make the move first. But someone will. Someone will. BAL. Crypto. Again, only in 3 waves. It's a corrective move, but let's look at the big picture. Again, this one's another one of these go to zeros. Don't like to trade the go to zeros, right? We like to buy ones that are trending higher. We like to buy like Zcoin in 3 waves. We like to buy Ethereum. We like to buy, ones that have shown that they go higher. We don't like to buy ones that show they go lower. Those are tough, because either you just get completely lucky. So if that's the connector, that would be 1, 2, 3, 4. So probably a little more downside. So it'll be impossible to time the low. The only thing I can tell you is watch this trend line, and when it breaks higher, you have a bigger move coming. So you can just draw this monthly chart. See that line? You can keep this on your screen. As soon as that breaks and crosses the line, then the correction's over, and you can get more interested. But right now it's still in the bear market phase. I still see it going lower. So I still see it going lower. Let's look at this sequence a little bit closer. So that's probably your wave 3 and 4 right there. Maybe one more. I mean, if the count is right, you have one more low. If the count is right. If the count is wrong, it will erase divergence and you'll be annihilated. So you can decide if you want to trade that. Now, if you're trading the count, the target could be, see if I can get this, 49.57, this box here. And you would have to make sure no divergence is erased on the lower time frames. Daily is the most important, I think. So you want to keep this. So yeah. So we'll see what happens if it can come out of that box. Out of the 3 you showed me, that one I'd be the most interested in. Okay, GDXU, like I said, that's just a ticking time bomb. If you want to trade it, just understand you could wake up and have no money left in it. I don't recommend holding it at this point where you are in the cycle, but that's your call. So it looks like that first 4 is in, right? So hopefully you'll see a top-in process and you can get a pullback. So it looks like to me, it's pretty clear that 4 is in. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Maybe it's in a flat. And the 4 is done. Let's see if it was deep enough or intense enough. Definitely intense enough. So here's a 4. We'll just wait and see if we can rally. I think you probably will. Just know what I worry about is whenever 5 comes, let's say we're off by a swing on that 5. Whenever 5 comes, I bet the move down is going to be violent. Remember, it's triple levered. The GDX can move 20% in one day, easy, I think. And at the peak, I believe it will be down like that at the end of the cycle. So this will be down 60% in 24 hours. And then if it's even worse than that, it doesn't open. So you better be careful. I'm just telling you, and I can't stress enough. So don't get mad at Elliott Wave Sage if this goes belly up. I'm warning you guys now. This may never open again at whenever this 5 ends, because we do have a lower low. Even though I do show this, I probably shouldn't show this. Just be careful if you're in this thing. That's all. At some point, you're going to crap out. Some point, you're going to crap out. You lose all your money at the casino. So if I were in it, I would be taking my money and putting it in the non-levered fund. But that's managing leverage. And ask the guys that bought altcoins about managing leverage, and they wish they probably listened to some advice. So I'm just trying to teach people to be good risk managers of your money. You know, be careful out there. So this message is directed for everybody, not just SSBG. It's for anyone who's buying triple levered funds. The party comes to an end, and you may lose everything when that party ends. TSL looks like it's moving in 3 waves. So that's common for these triple levered funds to do that. Or leverage funds. So maybe something like this. I think that's what we're looking for. And so potential box 1663, 1543. So you can look for maybe a reaction here. It may bounce here. That kind of lines up with Tesla's chart too. Okay. BABA is going to continue higher. I've been stressing that to elite members not to buy it. To buy it early down in these areas. It did hit the box. It's at the very edge. I think it's going to rally and turn. Perhaps there's going to be happy talk with Trump in China on Sunday night. I wonder. If not, what is this? The bigger picture, could it be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in a leading diagonal? Is possible. So that's why I say if you're going to buy that 4, I would definitely have stops, because if it turns into that, that would be then that's your 3. So I don't show that view, but it's not an impossible count. A 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then we come all the way back down, and everyone gets a second chance to buy it who missed the move. So I can't rule that out, but the way we sold off here does concern me a little bit. But it's not deep enough yet. So I think next week's price action is critical to this view. If it isn't, we have to go to the more conservative view that this was a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 leading diagonal, which means it was moving in 3 waves, and then we come back down, and then we do this. Okay, so I think I'll go with this for now, but I think you have to be pretty careful in it. I wouldn't be aggressive buying it at this point and without more data. All right, Rigetti had this. Looks like that played out perfectly. Should be seeing the 4. This 4 and this 4 should be pretty significant when it happens. Yeah, that 4 any moment. So that 4 should be pulling back. Looks like you have a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Typically, you lose the whole 5. So this could come all the way back down here. So it could be a pretty nasty sell-off for one more high. Okay. LITMN. Yeah, looks like we've looked at this before. Looks like we have that B, and now we're entering C, and that looks like your first wave off of the low. So hopefully this thing's ready to pump soon. So we can look at this. To me, looking at this on the shorter time frame, 1, 2. Let's take a look. Flat. 3. Yeah, maybe it needs a 5 still. Let's see. Yeah, it needs a 5 still. So it's not, I don't think it's quite finished the 1 yet. So I think the count, the right count would be something like this. And then a pullback. And then come out. So that's what I would be looking for. Something like that. Could C be done here? It's only possible if you take out that peak on the 4-hour and on the daily. Then I would be really careful that this won't happen. So this is an important move, this 5. It could also be a 1, 2, 1, 2 and just explode out. So it could see more downside to 426 into this box here. Okay. Dogecoin had a nasty illiquid event last night. Whew, look at that. Nasty double correction. You know, I was never recommending Dogecoin to my members early on because of this lower low here. And that proved to be what needed to get resolved in this double correction. You know, I tried to give it the benefit of the doubt. We were trying to pick it up. You know, in this zone, thinking, you know, we couldn't imagine it doing this kind of bearish move. So we had a box. It didn't work out. So sometimes not everything works out, obviously. But if you had your stops program, you survived it. And then of course it double corrected, but it stopped exactly where it needed to. It had to hold that low. That would have been the box. And it pretty much stopped. So really, it can't go back down here. So we have to hope that low is in, and then you have a 1, 2, 1, 2. So I think you just have a big double correction. I think you have to hold that low. Now, obviously, you should make a 1. You know, it may do something like that. But if you break this low, whew, it's over. It's over because you only have 3 waves. You know, I have it as a 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. I mean, could it be a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5? See, I think Dogecoin, you got to be really careful because when I look at it from this point of view, it's got a lot of its personality looks very corrective in this, and I don't like these lower lows. I don't like what happened here, but I do. It's glad it held that level. So I still think it's not like the best chart to trade, but as long as it can stay above this low, it can try to push out of this advance. But I think this is the line in the sand. If it breaks, I think the panic will be unbelievable. I think it could probably come back down to this trend, this level down here, a penny. Or I hate to be a bearer of bad news, but that's what it is. I mean, I'm just reading what I'm just telling you the weather forecast. I hope that doesn't happen, but anyway, this is what you're hoping for, something like this to emerge. Okay, GME also double correcting, and again, GME is in the same situation. We really need that low to hold. We really need this low to hold. Showing a double correction here. We need this low to hold at 21.54. It could still go lower. It still can go lower, and it looks like an A, B. So maybe a little more downside to 22.55. I do like how it came out with a higher high. I think that gives the bulls the edge in this count. So I still like this count. But as you know, nothing's guaranteed. And at some point, it may not work out. So we'll just have to wait and see. That's what I'll look at for GME. MLGO, let's take a look at that one. I get asked about that once in a while and see what that's up to. denying the bullish case. It looks like it's in a bigger correction on 2. Did it double correct on us? It looked like that's what it did. So it looks like it did a double correction. And again, we're starting to see this a lot, these run-in stops, but then, falling short, of a target area. But anyway, this is what I think happens. And that looks like 5 waves up to me. So hopefully it will come out. But I think eventually it comes out of this. So I think the market makers just don't want you to win, and they're trying everything they can to get you out of it before they mark it up. And that's what's happening here. The box would have been, if we would have thought it would have done a double, see it reacted right at where the box. So this is the double correction area. And sure enough, that's where it reacted. And it has no divergence there. No diverge. So that's what's going on with it. So, and if it doesn't hold that, it will just correct again. So, but I think it really needs to hold this level though. MYO looks like it could be ready for a breakout. I know Friday didn't help. Let's take a look. So we have this the long-term downtrend line. It keeps getting slammed back down. We'll see if it can turn out and either make a 5 and have another pullback, or this is a 1-2, 1-2. I was thinking this was 5. I still can't rule that out. But when I look at the RSI, I want to be too aggressive. So it's either that or 1-2, 1-2. And then the third point is this one, where it's 1-2. And maybe if we go a little deeper, I will go back and update it to that count. But either way, it looks like it's correcting, at least from this low. Maybe with the action at the end of the day Friday, it just broke the trend, or it's right on it. So that's why I can't call it correcting the whole cycle. I'm just going to call it a 4, and we'll call it a 5 for now. Okay. ARDX. What happened here? Let's take a look. All right, 1, 2, 3, a connector, 1, 2, 3. Okay, so we can call that a low, but let's see how we came off of it. We have both, so it looks impulsive off the low. Let's take a look and see if we can label it properly. Yeah. So I think we're good. Looks like that's a connector. And then there, so looks like it was kind of a WXY corrective move. Didn't get to the box, but obviously that's the pivot. That was pretty intense. But that's yeah. So I think we you see that a little bit of divergence at that. So it's tough to say. Let's go to the 4-hour time frame. Yeah, there. So looks like to me it's in a 1-2, 1-2 setup. I'm not sure what these guys do, but it looks like it could be ready to go higher at any moment. So that's what that looks like. Pretty straightforward, okay? Pretty straightforward. All right, so I think I got everybody's comments. I've been on for a little bit, so I'm going to get off here. So I appreciate everyone's super chats. Yeah, I'll try to put out some member videos later tonight before I go on my trip Sunday. I'm out of pocket, and maybe I can do something Sunday. And then most of my updates are going to be, in the evening during the week next week due to my personal schedule. But I'll be on X if you need to communicate. I'll try to stay on X. And yeah, just interesting time. I think the bigger picture I think still looks sound. I think we are entering a volatile period. 3 or 4 weeks ago, I did tell everybody who watched me that if you were taking new positions, you likely would be underwater. I did say this was going to be the hardest time period to trade that we've seen in a while, and all that has been proven to be the case. For people who have joined the trend late, if you joined the trend early, I just said you need to wait through this and just go do something else and not get distracted and not let this throw you off your game. But we'll see if we want a deeper pullback. I think the key to the deeper pullback is what happens with the Dow Jones, and I think this is a big tell. This line, either flipping this line as a false breakout or holding it and doing a successful back test. This to me is a very important level technically, and let's keep an eye on that. All right, guys, good luck and have a good weekend. And that's all I've got for our live stream. Thanks.